I'll do it from my computer. I can do that. Not a problem.
Yeah, for the rest, I really don't need one.
All right, so we are back live here at OccupySFTV. And actually, is Jen going to come back, or?
She probably will.
She will? Okay. And I'll stay where I'm at. We don't need to square this up. Bring that up a little bit. All right. And thank the viewers for staying here, tuned in, ready to go. And those topics again, what was your first one that you'd like to talk about, Rick?
Well, the fluoride is the big thing, and that's I didn't really get to go into much detail with that. What fluoride is, I mean, it's an industrial waste product. There's
Really?
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing that before from an in-law. Come on in, Jen.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, so you we're talking about fluoride, and it's an industrial waste product, and they use that in toothpaste, water.
Yeah, and then they add it to bottled water, and I mean, 98% of Europe has refused to use fluoride. Most of the world does not use fluoride.
It's outlawed.
Outlawed
Fluoride.
even, yeah.
Fluoride.
Because it is a industrial waste product.
Come on in, Jen. Don't stand there at the door. You come on
Alright.
and go.
Fine.
We have a desk out there, next room over, sleeping.
Yeah.
You can't be talking through the door. This is a studio.
Studio time.
A makeshift studio.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so just like they say on the esoteric agenda, I'll say that again, talk about that. But it's sodium fluoride is in every rat poison. So you know sodium fluoride is pretty much what we drink. It's just a few, molecules.
they mix sodium and fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
The bottled water.
In the bottled water. Now they're putting it out for infants to drink.
It's the only pharmaceutical drug that the government decides that they will go ahead and medicate us with.
Yeah. What it makes is docile, makes people docile.
Oh.
Makes them to where it dumbs them down, literally. It makes them to where they have mental problems from it.
Really?
Yes. And it dumbs people down. It makes them to where they're docile.
Suppresses their IQ. It is shown to suppress the IQ in people in tests, in actual tests that they perform. And it also breaks down the teeth. The human body can only absorb so much fluoride.
So it doesn't actually help your teeth.
Right. It
degrades your teeth.
It causes way more harm than it is good.
And the quantities
you
that
can
we
only
ingest.
if you ingest small quantities of fluoride, it does help your teeth strengthen, but we have no way of quantifying how much fluoride we ingest, especially with the toothpaste and the water.
Food. They add it to food too.
They add it to food. They add it to our drinking water. They add it to our toothpaste, and they will totally guarantee from all government websites that they cannot quantify how much fluoride you are ingesting. There have been no research regarding how much fluoride you are ingesting and what it does to you over a long-term period. It all comes, 90% of fluoride comes from industrial waste, meaning that they fabricate metal, and the waste that comes from the metal that they actually fabricate, they go ahead and dump into your water and say that it's possibly good for you. Actually, they don't. I don't even think they possibly even say it's good for you.
Well, they say that it helps
anymore.
teeth, but I mean.
Okay, only to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean.
Do they say it's good for you?
I think I heard somewhere that it helps like 10% of your teeth.
No,
like
depending
10%.
on how much. Yeah, there's a very small percentage that you ingest that's good for your teeth, but once you surpass that amount, it actually breaks down your teeth.
Yeah. Fluorosis.
Fluorosis, which is very common.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of respected pediatricians and doctors, dentists that will vouch for the fact that fluoride is poisonous. It's shown scientifically that it causes tumors. It way outweighs the
pros, the cons,
the harm for your body than it is the good.
Okay.
Look into it.
Yeah, I assume that the information you got was what we would call free information out there on the internet, and
it's out
and
there.
all you did was research it yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so self-educated citizens here, folks.
It's funny that you're
That's
talking
right.
about
We are
movies.
all self-educated.
It's funny you're talking about movies earlier because the first time I heard anything bad about fluoride was in a movie called Dr. Strangelove.
You mean on the last broadcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the last broadcast we were talking about how life often imitates art, and there's also some things about Stanley Kubrick. He made Dr. Strangelove, and then he made Eyes Wide Shut later on, and that was about, it was supposed to be about secret organizations and things, but it's one of the only times in his career that the studio came in and said, hey, no, you can't do that.
Oh, really?
Then he died shortly thereafter. So, I mean...
Oh, mysteriously, or...?
It's...
We like to
another conspiracy theory, folks. I love this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit suspicious, but, I mean, he was an older guy, you know, but...
Right.
But, yeah, and Dr. Strange...
Over 60 or over 80?
Over 60.
Oh.
So he's...
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, but, I mean, in Dr. Strangelove, there's this crazy guy that's trying to start a nuclear war, and his thing is about fluoride, and he talks about how fluoride's a big conspiracy.
Well, if you look at the movies these days, what they've done is they've implemented a system, and when I say they, you know who I'm talking about. There's a system of making, it's a programming system where if you have seen it before, it's easier to believe that it's happening. So, or if you've heard it somewhere before in a movie, it's kind of like watching reality TV. It's there, but it's not there.
It's not
the
real.
People have become separated from reality.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States.
Big disconnect.
Well, definitely here in the United States. I mean, I talked to some people, and they have no idea what Occupy is. They have no idea what the Federal Reserve does. Mm-hmm. They have no idea what the government does. Mm-hmm. They just do.
Absolutely.
And that's the sad part. They are programmed drone slaves.
Right.
Oh, I said drone.
Yeah.
Do you want to move back to that topic, or?
We can talk about drones more.
I mean, you had several other topics that you wanted to talk about. I just happened to.
Yeah, I mean, the drone thing's really, really important. They even had a few demonstrations recently. It was down in Austin. I'm sure you know what I mean. But yeah, Alex. Yeah.
Alex.
The drone mob.
You mean Jones?
Yeah.
Well,
the crazy guy.
We try not to talk about other documentarians on this show. If need be, we will.
Yeah.
You know, for topic of discussion.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not qualifying
Maybe
or.
We should talk
or
about Alex right now.
I don't know. Just about this one issue. He ran this thing, and they had a regular citizen that was. He came in and hacked these drones that these people had made with a phone app.
Hackers unite.
So that tells you where these drones can lead to. I mean, people can infer what they want from that, but I mean, but yeah, that's really on the drones. I don't want to spend too much more time on that. I'd rather go to the religious side of things, I guess.
I'd like to say thank you to the hackers because, you know, I believe you are the one group of people that give us freedom, guarantee our freedom in the United States.
Transparency.
Because you are able to shut down important information trafficking systems that
Underground ones.
can control it allows the government to know that the people, aka the hackers, to have control over what they can
See
the
and hear.
communication
Right.
that they can transmit or that they can purvey to the public. They're able to shut that down. They're able to, you know, if it was CBS or NBC, I know the hackers can shut them down if they want to. And I appreciate that.
Well, they just shut down some websites recently, and they've been shutting them down.
USSC.
They've been shutting them down for, what, a year now?
Yeah.
Or at least the last 6 months. Over a year.
Absolutely.
Well, Aaron Swartz was one of the things that definitely kicked it off. But prior to
United
that,
States.
it had already started. And I think right now, with somebody that was trying to get out the information that should be free to the public, with the supposed suicide of somebody that was... I personally do not think that Aaron Swartz killed himself. I think that he was murdered, assassinated, and made to look like a suicide, because there's so many things that they could just say, oh, he was in financial trouble and in trouble with the government and blah, blah, blah. But this guy, to me, was a liberator, a freedom fighter, a patriot, an American, somebody that stood for what our forefathers meant this country to be, what it is supposed to be, what it has not become.
Well,
What's that?
More important.
More important.
Death.
Well, Aaron Swartz I see as like a SEAL team member. He is the type of person that would not kill himself regardless.
Yeah, I mean, even playing devil's advocate, even if he did commit suicide, what drove him to do that? I mean, the fact that our criminal justice system was...
We could speculate on that all day long, but I mean...
But I mean,
for 2 years.
He was under so much pressure from the government. They were...
Yeah, it's too fishy.
I'm with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Well, of course, somebody has to.
Even if he did commit suicide,
well,
you know,
that's a lot of pressure to be under for something that's so minute. I mean, we've got murderers, we've got people bringing drugs in the country, there's serial killers, rapists, all kinds of things that they could be doing, going after, and
it's not just in the United States.
And notice I didn't use the T word, because there's no such thing as a terrorist. The only terrorists out there are the people that are terrorizing you in your home now.
David Kelly, I think, is who she was talking about. He was...
Britain underwent the same scrutiny as Aaron Swartz, and he ended up committing suicide.
We'll be right back with the live feed. Camera's coming back. I'm not familiar with that story. Well, go ahead and embellish.
The Iraq.
Same thing. Supposedly he committed suicide.
After he had said that there was no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that he could see.
But
there
were no massive
yeah.
weapons of mass destruction.
Which we all knew from the beginning, right?
Well, did we? Or did we? I mean...
I kind of did.
Well, I wasn't sure.
Because
I'm going to be honest about it.
But I kind of did. You know, I mean...
I wasn't really awake at that time, so I didn't know.
I was pretty awake. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I was well awake, and that was 20 years ago almost. Ish.
Iraq.
The first time.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Papa Bush.
Papa Bush, yeah. Yeah, that
I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
I'm in my early 40s now.
Yeah, that was 20.
Are we in the Smurfs cartoon?
The Smurfs?
Like Gargamel or something?
You feel like Gargamel?
Papa Bush is Gargamel?
Papa.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Oh my God. Always got to have a little comedy in the show, right? That's great. I love it, Jay. I haven't thought about the Smurfs in years.
Oh. Well, what would Baby Bush be? Azrael or something? I don't know.
I don't know, but that guy was a jackass.
And we thought he was bad until we got Obama.
Well, I mean, he's perfect.
And now we're like...
as far as it goes, I only voted once. Just say, people are like, well, if you don't do it, then you're not part of it. Oh, I did it once, yeah, and I voted for Clinton. Okay, yeah, right.
Really?
Clinton. The guy smoked pot and he got his dick sucked in the White House.
God.
I mean, what a fucking cool guy. But still, he fucked me over.
Totally
He fucked me over. As far as it goes, I'm trying to pay my child support, and if I can't pay it, which I'm now unemployed, which I am now living on food stamps because there are no jobs out there, and trust me, I'm trying. Besides doing this patriotic duty of mine, if I can't pay my child support, which I'm now falling behind, they're going to take my license. And what's next? They'll throw me in jail. I mean, what the fuck? Clinton, hey, you know what? I just gave you props. Guess what's next? Fuck you, asshole.
NAFTA.
Sorry, I digress. What were we talking about before?
Break time.
No, we just had a break. We got 30 minutes left here. Or so. 40 minutes left. We just started.
I was going to get into that, the two-party paradigm. That's not real.
Two-party paradigm, you mean those...
Democrats.
Dickocrats and their prick-republican...
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm stuttering tonight.
Republic.
The Republicrats.
It's the wine. Jesus made me do it.
It's the Republicrats, is what I call them. But yeah, it's basically a strategy. It's to make people believe that there are two choices when there are really no choices in it. You're voting for about the same people.
Okay, so if you wanted to talk about the two-party system, I mean, maybe I could just kind of force you into the lobbyist.
Oh God.
I mean, we've got two parties. One says they're for this, and one says they're for that. And then we've got these guys with money or some sort of lure. I mean, it's like a guy throwing a fucking fishing reel out there in the water. Oh, I got one. Yeah, all right, yeah. And it's catch and release. You let him go. But, he's not just going to swim off anywhere. He's going to swim over to where you want him.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is these guys should be...
So you can catch him again.
Oklahoma, we know about fish.
These guys should be like NASCAR drivers and just wear the emblems for the corporations there.
Hell yeah. From now on, I want to start seeing all the House of Representatives and stuff with the fucking... who they represent. Wear your fucking patches. Brother. I want to see you wearing patches on that nice $1,000 Armani suit.
Every single cent that you receive, we want your patch.
I mean, that I was gonna actually try to write a comedy skit with that, but That's fine.
Hey,
anyone else can have it.
We can always do a comedy skit anytime you want. You know, we can do a play on it and put it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. You know, because people love comedy, and especially when it's true.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's got to be a message behind it at the end, a clarifying message that it's not just funny. It's something you need to take a stand against.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd be willing to work with that.
Yeah.
You know, I got the cameras.
We could try it.
Okay.
I've always thought that would be funny to see because that's what they are.
And we have a community of artists and musicians. Well, musicians are artists, so we have a community of artists and producers that would like to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you could look forward to seeing something like that in the near future. A little comedy skit from the Firewall community and OccupySFTV. Independent citizen media, or whatever you want to call me.
Yeah.
How about CIA? How about CIA,
Which hat
James?
would you like?
CIA.
Anyway.
Not CIA Al Qaeda.
CIA Al Qaeda? You're saying it wrong.
Yeah. The base.
You know, and since we're digressing, I know you had a list of things you'd like to talk about. I really think that the CIA is something that a lot of people have a tendency to mention. Just the other day I was filming at a national monument in Oklahoma City. I haven't posted any of that footage yet, the video footage. I have posted some of the pictures. You can take a look at those on Occupy the Odyssey or Occupy San Francisco CA. Both of those are Facebook pages. But I heard some people talking as they were walking by. They said something about terrorists. And I was just trying to get a visual image and film the scenery. So what was going on around me wasn't really important, but I did happen to catch them say something about terrorists and then the CIA and the FBI watching everything that's going on. And I caught the lady's attention as I was turning, you know, I'm filming, and she sees me turn, and she looks back over her shoulder and sees me, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're watching everywhere. And you know, she sees the hat.
Yeah.
You know, so I got to joke around. You know, I stopped to talk to him. I turned the camera off, and you know, it was a peaceful conversation, and they know what's going on. They're just the general public. I didn't need to tell them.
Yeah.
Because of what I heard. It just intrigued me to draw into conversation with them, and obviously the hat is one of those things that I'm actually a chef, Culinary Institute of America. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a computer technician, Computer Institute, whatever. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I'm bullshit. I'm with the CIA.
I thought it was
I've been drinking.
really,
It's a truth serum.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Sodium pentothal.
Sodium pentothal. Yeah, Rick shot me up with some sodium pentothal. I can't speak right
Truth
now.
serum. Ask questions. Call now.
Yeah, we put out that call-in line. I don't know why none of you have called in.
Hey, call us.
Rise PDX.
We want
I
to
see
talk
you there
to you.
online. I know
What's
we've
the
got
number?
viewers. The number once again is 510-969-0917. And if I don't answer, feel free to leave a message. I'll be glad to call you back or respond to your request.
Again, that number is.
Question. There's certain things I won't do.
We'll decide that later.
Easy now. Fluoride. We were talking about that earlier. I'm going to digress back to that because that was a major topic of yours. And I've brought it up on Wikipedia. And fluoride is occurrence. It's inorganic. Wait, solutions of inorganic fluorides. Just a second. Let me review. Natural occurrence.
Okay, fluoride.
Applications.
Wait.
Go ahead.
No, that's chromium. Chromium, which is
You're
also
off topic. You're off topic.
comes.
chromium, which would relate to the
In
water
the
supply
water.
here in Oklahoma or in Oklahoma City.
No, just in
Oh, that's right.
Honolulu.
I'm sorry. I remember you were telling me Hawaii has
Honolulu.
most water has
the natural
chromium.
occurring.
Yeah.
The highest natural occurring is
Other
it
than
was
northern.
arsenic, not chromium.
Mm.
Isn't that right?
Chromium.
It was chromium too.
Chromium.
They had chromium in Hawaii.
Yeah, Honolulu.
That's naturally
we have-
occurring.
We have 12 times more than Hawaii has. And I don't think...
And the water supply here.
Right.
Yeah.
And you wonder why when you said that to me after my first 2 days here, and I'd said, should I be worried about the water? And
Yeah.
somebody said,
It should
well,
be.
there's chromium in it. And Aaron Brockovich, one of you said that to me, and I said, I'm not drinking the fucking water here anymore.
That was me. I told
That was you,
first, yeah.
right? And I'd asked, and everybody's like, and I'd seen people drinking the water.
You didn't
I
see
saw
me.
you guys making coffee. Well, I know you don't drink coffee, but I know you do, and others here drink coffee. I really think that we should move to the bottled water coffee system.
Osmosis.
Yeah, we can get that a lot
For-
cheaper.
Yeah.
While I'm here, that's what I feel would be pertinent for the rest of the community. And
Right.
I, think that the only reason that we're drinking it now is because it's expensive to buy water.
It can be, yeah.
And now that we found a new system to get cheap water, you go have a cigarette. Now that we found a system to get cheap water, or cheaper water,
Yeah.
it should be free. Why are we paying for water?
Yeah.
Other than gallons and gallons and gallons, thousands of gallons through a tap is one thing at $20 for 20,000 gallons. Or 100,000 gallons, whatever they charge, it's minimal. But when you're paying $1 a gallon, oh fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just too much. That's way too much. I mean, gasoline prices are outrageous, and we should be completely off gasoline by now, or nearly completely off. I mean, the only thing I can think of that should need to run gasoline would, or any kind of fuel like that would be heavy machinery for digging more of that shit out of the ground, which would be reduced because we would be using less and less of it because we're using more and more natural, solar, wind power to generate for our electric cars and stuff that we know we can provide for the public. We should have been doing this for like 20, 30 years because they've known this for like 50, 60 years. I mean, Tesla. Fuck! Look up Tesla if you haven't looked up Tesla. I mean, it's brainless.
Well, Jimmy Carter was talking about it in the 70s, and Jimmy
Okay.
Carter had tons of problems, but...
Well, that's the 70s.
Yeah.
And we're looking back
Tesla...
40 years now. I mean, I was a kid.
Yeah.
A child back in the 70s.
Yeah, and Carter really wanted to go on with it, and Reagan killed it. You can say what you want about Carter, but...
Well, for
that's
every
one thing.
president that does good, that means well to go in there and they're like, I don't really buy into this shit that the Illuminati or whoever's buying me off is selling me, so I'm going to do my own thing. Look what happened to Kennedy. Look what happened to Lincoln. Look what happened to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything really since then except for be his own man and promote world peace. That is a man that I respect. I think that he is one of the better presidents that we've had.
Well-intentioned, definitely.
Well-intentioned. I'm sure he probably made his mistakes. I'm not well-versed in all of the politics and stuff. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, he's a little far left, but
I'm just an American prodigy here, what you call part of the system. I learned in the general public system. So from what I know, is only from since Google was invented. You know what I mean? The public school system here in America is shit. I wouldn't fucking pay to put my kids in school. I would keep my kids at home. Well, my ex has my kids, but if I had my son with me, he would be homeschooled. I would not put him in a public school system, period.
That opens up so many more topics. Immunizations with the Marisol.
I don't want my child learning the way they teach.
Yeah, the
and what they
indoctrination.
teach. It's You know, I want him to have a free mind, to think for himself, which what they have done in the public school system is taught them to accept authority. You accept authority for, you know, if somebody is wrong and they're in a position of authority, then from that point down, there is a complete failure.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person is the president of the United States, our complete, it's just done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, you explained it to you.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been like that for a majority of our history. I mean, there's a few presidents I can think of that struck out, like Theodore Roosevelt. He was a little bit of a war hawk, you know. He liked war.
And you're a history buff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Of the presidents, who would you say really fucked it up?
Really? I hate to say it, but Lincoln was kind of part of the problem. Not with slavery or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that, but he reinstituted a central bank, or at least paved the way for a central bank, because it was dissolved.
Well, that was back in the 1800s, and the Federal Reserve was started in 1913.
Yeah, they started to pave the way for the centralized bank after the Civil War.
So did they trick him, or, I mean, do you think he knew? I mean, he's a pretty intelligent man, you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really difficult subject, because at the same time that I admire Lincoln, I also see his flaws, but he did pave a lot of the way. He might have been tricked, you know, like Wilson was, and it's just really difficult to explain. But Jackson was another person that kind of brought in the spoil system, you know. Well, this guy is my guy, I'm going to bring him in with me. He also fought against a centralized bank, and he also fought against what he called a government that was, you know, a shadow government. You hear that a lot from these presidents like Jackson. Jefferson even talked about it with corporations. T.R. talked about it. He was talking more about the railroad tycoons at his time. Kennedy talked about it in the 60s. He was kind of a renegade in that way.
And they murdered him.
Yeah, he started
assassinated him.
He started out as the part of the establishment. I mean, he was very much from the blue blood lineage, and he was royalty basically.
Well, I mean, the Kennedys were liquor runners.
Yeah.
That's how they made their money, right?
Yeah, and then Joseph Kennedy.
But, I mean, they had money when they were at that point. They were well established.
Yeah, they were well established by the time he was coming around, and he went renegade on them and basically snubbed his nose at those people, and then he was killed for it. And
assassinated, yes.
Yes. Hoover, you could say he was involved because Kennedy did want to get rid of the FBI, and Hoover, people forget about him. He was like basically a dictator in the United States. He watched everyone from John Lennon to Martin Luther King to Robbie Kennedy to John Kennedy to...
So, John Lennon, you know, he was murdered. I mean, we could go through the list of names of great political figures that were murdered. So we could start with, let's say, John Lennon and
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King. There's Malcolm X.
Yeah, he was his was more of the...
Gandhi.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then there's just a whole list of people. There's even this Israeli president, I forgot what his name was, but he was trying to broker a deal with Yasser Arafat a while back, and then radical conservatives in Israel murdered him pretty much. He was trying to broker the deal. He was going to end what was going on. He was going to concede, and then that kept going. He's one of my favorite political figures from that location and time, and you'd think I'd remember his name, but
that's all right. We can look it up later, or come up in another topic, or somebody can look it up from us for our conversation.
Yeah. So I mean, then you have people like in the military, like Pat Tillman, people like that.
Yeah, Pat Tillman. There, we could go through the military list of names. Current names: Bradley Manning.
He's been, yeah.
And I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. I've had a couple of drinks tonight. I'm relaxing. It's been a long day. I think that it's sad that our military personnel don't understand what it means to swear an oath to defend this country against enemies, foreign and domestic. Which
And
means
oppose the
that if
Constitution.
you, as a fellow soldier, were doing something wrong, that I would turn you in, regardless of rank.
Mhm.
Even if you're the President of the United States and I was a private, like Bradley Manning, that I would do my duty as an American patriot to tell the public what is going on. Because the public is ultimately the commander-in-chief.
Mhm.
Fuck you, Obama.
That's what our country is founded on.
That's what our country was founded on. That's right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's the oath you take. It's to uphold the Constitution and defend the United States from enemies, foreign and domestics.
Not
Did the
to
cam
let
shut
them
off?
fight
I'm
their
sorry.
own wars for whatever they want to fight their wars for.
We're back on. I will bring it back on. It's supposed to.
And we're going to break.
Thanks for that notification, Rise PDX. There's something wrong with the configuration. I don't know why the camera keeps shutting off. Who knows? Maybe it's the CIA that tapped in and configured it to shut off like that, because I know I had it set to run permanently on and wired in and just shutting off. We're here on the internet. Why it turns off, I don't know. But at least you have an audio feed. The reason you have the audio feed is because I have a microphone hooked up to the Cerevo Live Shell, which Cerevo from Japan sponsored Quantum Wireless, or well, take it back. Quantum Wireless and Cerevo Live Shell sponsored me with this device, which you can see on my website, independencitizenmedia.weebly.com, to promote them, promote me, whatever, get it going, do a little trade. It's not an expensive device, but it's really cool, and I like it. Our contract is pretty much ended, but I really think that it's something worth mentioning since we're discussing camera feed and how I'm doing this. I'm connected to a Contour camera. It's a 1080p, 135 to 170 degree wide angle camera. It can be connected through a HDMI or a was it RC?
Yeah, the RGA.
Or RGBA video. It's got several different connections that it can be connected from the Cerevo Live Shell. So depending on your type of camera, whether you're using HDMI or RGB, it's pretty neat. Anyway, enough of the sponsor talk. We were discussing
The military assassinations by the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about.
Eisenhower, and this is how many years ago? That's
50.
50 years ago, and
60,
this
50,
was a
60.
president of ours.
Yeah, he was during the 50s, and that was the dull 50s that we had, Eisenhower was a Republican.
It was after the war. We'd already gone through the Depression,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah, I
that was in the 30s, or mid 20s, 30s.
late 30s, 40s was
30s
World
and
War
40s.
II, and then World
Right.
War I was in the teens, and a little bit before then, but not really. So Eisenhower was talking. It's an interesting speech that he had, warning the American public about the military-industrial complex and how it wishes to take over the government, and warned about that. And now you're starting to see that happen. And that's been
Well, you're not just now seeing it happen. It's been happening for a while, pretty much since Kennedy died. It's ramped up, and you could argue that it was before then.
Okay.
So, really what you have now is a bunch of multinational corporations that basically buy our politicians out, and then
Lobbying.
yeah, they buy our politicians through lobbying, and then they go and they do their arms trade, and they start wars.
You know what's funny is now that I'm 41 and I see how it works. Back when I was in my teens, growing up through high school, and I heard about lobbying, and then even in my 20s and into late 20s, I was like, fuck it. What do I care? They're lobbying. They're doing whatever. Shit's gonna happen. Oh wait, let me use one of my favorite terms that I love to hate. It is what it is. My ex used to say that. You know what? Fuck you people.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's just weak. If you're not willing to stand up for what you believe is right, to make a change, to do what's really good in your heart, and what should be done, you're contributing to the problem.
Yeah, you really are. I mean, if you recognize the problem, you have that obligation to try to do whatever you can to fix it. And if you just accept it as being normal things,
Well, you're just a regular slave, zombie, drone, droid.
Yeah, I mean,
you are the enemy.
you're the yes man. You're the guy that
The yes
people-
man.
Yeah.
Well, you dirty rat. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, you've betrayed not only your family, but humanity.
Yeah.
And not to say that humanity is the greatest thing on the planet, because I think dolphins are wonderful. I'd love to be a dolphin. One of my favorite skiers, Tom Day, watched an interview with him, and he said that the question was if you could be any fish in the sea, what would you be? And he said a dolphin. And this guy was a phenomenal skier. Phenomenal. He's one of the greatest skiers I've ever seen. I never had the opportunity to meet him, but I lived in that circle. I grew up in the circle of skiing, extreme skiers, people that jump hucking off of cliffs, and I wish I had gotten to meet him, and I actually still have the opportunity. He's still alive, so maybe one day, back in the skiing circle, or I'm still in the skiing circle. I want to say peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there that are still ripping turns, steep and deep. But that's something that I think that humanity has forgotten, was that we are not the most intelligent things on this planet.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about the Earth itself, its own design is more complex and more intelligent than we could ever understand.
Right?
And
trying to figure out quantum mechanics, and we can't even keep from killing our own creatures.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Or I shouldn't say our own creatures, our fellow creatures.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm all for people, hunting for their food if they have to.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm against is wholesale slaughter. They do that with the dolphins. I mean, the dolphins that they don't take to theme parks and stuff in Japan, they kill them and sell them for food.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, dolphin?
Yeah, there's an activist guy that went to a seminar for their whaling.
I've heard of dolphin fish. I mean, I've eaten dolphin fish. I've caught dolphin fish. That's fish. But you're talking like mammals? They're killing
dolphins
and eating mammals in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, and it happens there, and that's where the big whaling community is too. We're
the whaling.
We're very much against that as in our policy, but I don't know. We don't do anything to stop it either.
When you say we, you mean
the United States.
United States. No, well, what does the United States do as far as that goes? Because I mean, they can bomb the shit out of other countries, but they can't stop somebody from killing a few whales?
Sanctions.
Or a few hundred whales?
Yeah, they should try sanctions or something. I don't know.
I mean, how many whales are left?
There's not many.
Not many.
There's not many left in the ocean.
Right. Well, that's why I didn't say a few thousand whales.
Yeah, I don't even know. It might be at hundreds now. I know when I was younger.
Well, that's sad. I mean, because I know I've been watching that kind of thing. It's absolutely appalling to me that there are so many people that can have so much power, so much money to be able to do so much good, and all they do is think of themselves and how to manipulate and control the rest.
One to note is Al Gore. I used to be a big Al Gore supporter.
Really?
Used to be big time. I thought he was great.
Well, I liked his movie.
He is a sham. He has a.
Of course he is. He's a politician.
He has a jet that he flies around everywhere in. He had stock in oil.
And so then he's gonna preach about global warming.
And he had stock in oil companies.
Fucking hypocrite.
He has stock in Apple now, I believe.
Oh, fuck Apple. I won't use Apple. I won't use an Apple Mac product ever.
Yeah, I mean...
Unless, if you give me one, okay.
Maybe.
I'll use it. Well, no, not maybe. I'll use it if it's given to me. You know, it's a good product. By design, it's quality.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I mean, better than PC. Why did I learn how to build and repair PC? Because it's an inferior product and most people use it because Microsoft is a marketing giant, and since most people use PC, that means that I have a job.
Yeah.
And since Mac is nearly flawless except for the fact that it's proprietary, it's incorporated with the government, and rather than anything you do over the internet, it's incorporated with the government. So
And they have
I mean, it goes through a file filter that looks at everything through the CIA, DHS, whatnot.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
the thing is, it's built off slave labor in China, but I mean, it's hard to find anything that's not. And the thing with Apple, though, is it got so bad there with the factory, they had to install nets because people were jumping off the top of the building just to get out of the place that they were working in. So they installed these
I saw
nets.
those.
And
saw
they would
pictures.
slide them all the way back into the factory. Hey, get back to work. I don't care if you try to kill yourself. Get back to work. Make more products.
And there was a fire recently that killed how many? They were Walmart
Oh.
workers.
Yeah. They caught big flack over that. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly how many.
100 and something, or
Yeah, somewhere around there.
over nearly 200 deaths for Walmart. And what? Who knows about that? I mean, do you know about that? Did you know that there was a fire that killed the entire factory workers because they were literally chained to their desks? There's a variety of topics we could go through. I do know that we've been broadcasting for a couple hours to close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And this is our third broadcast. How are you feeling? You wanna kind of wrap it up here? Or?
Yeah.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
We probably should.
You're like,
We can only take
I
so
want
much
my-
fluoride, and then our brains start collapsing.
yeah.
We get confused.
Well, it is pretty late. I did want to do kind of like a mid-hour broadcast so that people could catch it from East Coast to West Coast without it being in the
we
middle
love
of,
you guys.
in the middle
from
of dinner time or
Yeah.
whatnot. And of course, it will be archived on OccupySFTV on YouTube. So if you've missed the broadcasts, feel free to go back and check them out there. So I want to thank you both for joining me this evening. Appreciate it. Peace and love to everybody out there. Any final statements?
Just be aware what's going on, because the more people that have information that can share it, the better off we are. That's really what I want to add to that.
Sharing free information.
Don't,
Free information, yes.
you know, like if you see some kind of training exercise or something, go online and tell people. I mean, I think we're preaching to the choir, but You know?
And if we're paying taxes to the government to protect us, we deserve free information
Well, we should have
from
that.
their
Anyway.
experiments and
From what they're doing,
and
we should have the
from-
information.
yes, if we're paying for the experiments, we should freely have the information.
Yeah. Well, I agree. Next time we'll see if we can get into the free information on what they're doing with the chemtrails and the amount of
Fluoride,
drones in America,
chromium-6
fluoride.
droids.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into all kinds of stuff on the next broadcast. I want to send a quick shout out and solidarity with everybody out there in Egypt, all the revolutionaries
Yes,
throughout the
we
world.
love you in Egypt.
Peace and love, solidarity
Hang in
to
there.
all my friends in Occupy San Francisco, Occupy Wall Street, Occupy everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are.
Stay strong.
And talk to people. Don't be quiet. If you have information that should be shared and you hear somebody talking about something, find that in and talk to them. Let them know. Just give them 30 seconds of your time. Take 30 seconds of their time. Let them know that there's something wrong. Give them a GMO statistic. Give them a Federal Reserve statistic. Give them some sort of information. Tell them to go to Google and look at it themselves. You know, we can't wake.
Don't be afraid.
We can't wake the dead unless we knock on their door. That's pretty much all I have to say for tonight.
If anybody gets in trouble, we'll be there to back you up.
Alright, I think that was definitely the end of the evening because the camera beeped at us a second time. So that would be every 30 minutes it seems to be shutting off. Once again, this is CIA James, Occupy One Liberty from Occupy San Francisco, independent citizen media at... Oh, the camera's dead. The battery's dead. Where was I at? IndependentCitizenMedia.weebly.com and Occupy the Odyssey. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. Solidarity.